Welcome back, everyone. It's me, Matt. Thank you so much for joining me today. I was given the honor of having some new products sent to me from Red Hawk Tactical. Go check out their website. This video is sponsored by them today, and I always like having the ability to sponsor Canadian businesses, and this company has been reaching out to me to send some really cool products, which were some boots and a tack vest. But first of all, we need to look a little bit about why boots are so inherently important for your feet. Of course, they are the fighting soldier's requirement before going into any battle. You need something that's really going to protect your feet. And my boots have had an absolute beating in the last 4 to 5 years. And in the Canadian Armed Forces, we do have the ability to have Boot 4 Gen, which means you can get fresh ones every year. So let's take a look at the ones that I've been using recently. So here are my old booties, Rocky 2SV thermal insulated waterproof boots. They have seen better days. As you can see, big old hole in the side of them. The soles have been worn to death. We got a heel crack there. And I do love my Rockies. They've served me very, very well. But as you can see by the mountainous terrain, the foothills we have down here in the coulees, I use my boots a lot. And they've certainly seen a lot of action, so it's time to capitalize on getting some new boots, and of course using that Boot 4 Gen, which we in the Canadian Armed Forces can get boots at a subsidized cost. It's time to try something new, so let's go take a look. So these are the Belleville Boot, known as the TR550W Pins insulated waterproof multi-terrain boot. They are absolutely wonderful to wear. I'll show you some footage of me kind of bombing up and down the hills here. I've worn them throughout the day of my coulee adventures for this particular footage, and they were very comfortable. Now, I always look for boots that are thermally insulated and waterproof for reasons of I can transition this into a warm environment or a cold environment, with the Canadian Armed Forces being that most of our training as a reservist is done in the winter time when we're doing sort of weekend exercises, things like that. I want something that can beat through the snow, and this can certainly do that. It is very capable. Really nice 8-inch standard military height boot. And I decided I would transition out of my old boots into the new boots as I went along on the ruck. But let's talk about some of the features of this boot, because it's inherently so important when you're picking a boot that all the features and the comfort of this boot speaks to you, because I'm quite particular. I have to admit, I've locked into my Rocky 2SVs for a long time. As much as I love them, it was time to try something new, and this boot definitely offers that from Belleville. Now, the features of this boot, of course, as I mentioned, is waterproof and insulated. Really good for those operations or exercises or deployments where you're going into a snowy or wet environment. Really, really nice ability to keep your feet dry. Of course, not completely waterproof. There's always some risk of water getting in there. Never fully trust that your boot is going to be completely waterproof. Gaiters is the way to go. But this also has 400 grams of thin-slate insulation, which is really nice when it gets really cold. Now, many people say, well, Matt, why would you wear a hot, boot, a warm boot, in hot environments? I've never had an issue, not once. It actually just adds extra comfort and padding. They wick really well, so I don't get like really sweaty boots. I just like having that extra padding and the ability for me to go into a cold environment and just have that little extra layer of warmth if I'm not, in my specific cold weather gear, like, mucklucks, etc. And here in Canada, in northern Canada, we get a lot of extreme cold weather. So these boots allow you to transition if necessary when you're in garrison in cold weather, really nice without your toes freezing off. It has a low profile sole, reducing weight and improving that mobility. Sharp angled lugs and defined heel to maximize that traction. I'll show you some footage of me transitioning up and down the hills here. And they have a deeply serrated toe bumper, which aids in vertical climbing and, crawling if necessary to dig those toes in and pull yourself up walls or assault courses, which is also something I don't think boots of today really take consideration of. You need that toe grip to pull yourself up on some things, and boots nowadays, they don't have that, which is kind of interesting. It also allows you to have rappelling bars on the outsole to extend the wear, so the actual inner part of the boot allows you to rappel if you're using fast rope and things like that, and hold onto the grip of that rope if necessary. There is an aggressive lace-to-toe style, which allows for a customized fit. Of course, the lacing was really nice for me to do up, nice and comfy, and I actually had no issue with, locking these boots in nice and tight to my ankles. So starting off, just general comfort, they are a really comfy, spongy type boot. I like having that extra sponge or that padding or that insulate because it just makes them feel like moon boots, in all honesty. And I'm a big boy, 6'2", 200 and something pounds. I'm not telling you my exact weight, you crazy people. And I like having some robust 8-inch military high boots to get me where I need to go. And as I said, I do a lot of transitioning in my coolies up and down some pretty steep hills. This footage really doesn't do it a huge amount of justice, seeing the level of steepness that I'm going on, and I want a boot that I can trust to get me up and down these coolies without any risk. There is really good grip on the base there, giving you some good traction as you're transitioning up and down areas like this. Of course, the soil inherently is always going to slip away, but coming down, no issue, and coming up, I just feel really, really comfortable in them. The pinch at the ankle, the front of the ankle there is not bad. We talk about pinches, the material bunching up and kind of gripping your skin or your socks is never nice, and it seems like the crease point is naturally quite well done with this boot. You can tell it's a quality boot. It has a lot of structure to it. There's my old Rockies beside there. So far, I've really enjoyed them. Of course, the Rocky, very similar style of boot, but they've just been beat to a pulp. Now, one thing I will mention about the boot is there is one little patch that is quite frustrating. When you crease left or right of the ankle, which shouldn't really happen because you don't want to roll your ankle like that, although there's lots of flexibility, there was one little point that I was getting a little sort of, this could be a hot spot. I don't think it's going to turn into a hot spot, but it was something I was considering and saying, this sort of binding of this loophole could make an area that could cause some issues for me in the future. But overall, no massive issues. I mean, again, lots of grip on that base there, but there is that point at the side and the inners that are actually going to potentially cause a hotspot, which I'm pointing at right there. But other than that, the crease is good, the fold into the front of the boot is good, lots of flexibility, no sort of rigidity, which I don't like to have in my boot, but you can tell they're robust enough to get me where I need to go. Now, one thing you have to consider when you're buying a boot is it's all personal preference. I could give you all my, yay, this is the most amazing boot in the world, and you've got to give it a try, and you'll come back and buy them and be like, Matt, they were absolutely awful. You really have to test the water with boots. It is, of course, totally personal preference, but for me, going up and down the coolies and being in Canada and having that insulation, etc., I like having a nice, strong, heavy-duty boot that's going to give me lots of traction, lots of, walking life, because you get some boots that are really comfy and they're absolutely great, but they last you not even 6 months. You do a few exercises, they fall apart. You can tell with the stitching of this boot, double stitching all around, it's robust, it's solid. The eyelets as well for the boot are also really strong, and even just simple things like the laces, the quality of the laces can tell a lot about the boot. If they're just really thin, gnarly laces that you know is made in China and that's going to fall apart, no, these are very well made boots overall, folks, so I'd strongly encourage you to check them out on the website for Red Hawk Tactical. Currently, right now, these boots are around $300. Lots of different sizes, of course, regular and wide, so you should definitely go check them out. As a multi-terrain boot, really good. Of course, they are AFI 362903 compliant and AR 670-1 compliant, and they are for sure compliant to Canadian Armed Forces standards. If you want to get these on Boot 4Gen, I would strongly encourage you to check them out. Go to Red Hawk Tactical and try out these boots. And if you've stayed this far, lucky you, because we're now going to look at a tactical chest rig. Yes, I am not a massive chest rig fan, but once again, thanks to Red Hawk Tactical for sending me this, I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway. Yes, so let's take a look at this setup a little bit more in depth. Hey folks, I have something else really cool to show you, and you could actually have the opportunity to win this in my giveaway. Yes, I don't really do many giveaways, but thanks to Red Hawk Tactical, we're actually going to do a giveaway for this. This is a chest rig that has been really kindly sent to me from Red Hawk Tactical, and this is the Helicon Tex Guardian chest rig. Okay, if you want this bit of kit after I complete this review, it will definitely be sent to you if you follow the description box and comment section instructions for the competition giveaway, and I will be sending this to you. So let's go through it a little bit. So I am not a massive fan of one panel chest rigs. I'm more of a sort of long range patrol, heavy setup, play carrier style. I have my frag vest on right now. I'm a Canadian Army issued frag vest, but this is a really nice compromise between having a huge amount of patrol gear in my standard sort of tack vest or plate carrier rig, and it's a singular power, but look at the amount of storage of ammunition in this sucker. Okay, we've got 9mm pouches, we've got Stanag 30 round 5.56 mags, we've got more 9mm pouches, we've got 3 more pouches for 2 times Stanag rounds in there. It's like there is so much ammo that you can carry in this thing. Now, of course, that's all going to be on your front panel, and we're just going to put this on here because, again, I'm not really used to these kind of rigs. Okay, they're not really my style, but it's a crisscross action. Okay, goes over the top like so, and then you have a singular strap around the back. It's going to tie around and lock in to the side here, which works perfectly for something like this frag vest, because it's not having to add another layer, especially on the chest, like my rig does, where you're kind of like a tortoise, right? Or a turtle, big old shell front and back, okay? So, lots of ammunition capacity in here. 2 containers with Teflon bricks that I use for weight when I go up and down the hills here. As you can see, it's beautiful out here in southern Alberta. You also have 2 utility pouches in here. In the right-hand side, I've got my gloves for, you know, when I need them. Always handy to have the gloves ready to go on the fly. And you're not going to be able to put a huge amount of other utilities in this other than, say, your water bottle. It does hold a standard issue Nalgene. It's a hot day here, you got to hydrate, folks. And it fits in there just perfectly. If you have a little bit bigger of a Nalgene, it does have the adjustable buckle here to give you a little bit more room at the top. So really, really nice. It does have also some Velcro patches here for identifiers, if you want to put identifiers on there. Adjustable straps at the back there, crisscrossing. Really comfortable, in all honesty. I actually like this a little bit more now at the moment because I don't have tons of stuff in my face, you know. And this is going to be really good for those who are needing to do real quick ammunition changes. I'm talking about like intensive amounts of ammunition, more of an assaulter style rig. Infantry, you're going to love this. It does have so much room for storage, and it has the ability for you to basically take out the insert in the middle and just have it as a standard pocket or pouch. You can see inside it like a kangaroo pouch, which I also really like. I'm actually going to take these out and I'm going to put them in my side pouch because I don't think I'd ever have that configuration. But remember, this isn't mine. This could be yours. So again, if you want this, let's go through that description box and through the comment section. We'll get you through to get this rig sent to you direct. So Red Hawk Tactical, they have a ton of stuff on their site. This is just one of them. If you're looking for something, especially those in the Canadian Armed Forces, this is a permitted piece of kit. It is Coyote Tan or FDE, Flak Dark Earth. Has to go through your chain of command, but if you were authorized, this is a piece of kit that you could use alongside your Canadian Army issue CADPAT and other gear. As I said, not a huge amount for utility, more for someone who's just absolutely pounding ammunition downrange and you want to change out mags. If you wanted to, you could probably put some utilities across this belt. I wouldn't personally, because I mean, at the end of the day, this is more for someone who's in an armored fighting vehicle. This would have been great for me in Afghanistan. Lots of ammunition if I needed it, a couple of pouches for some utilities, my gloves, my water bottle, and that's really all I needed. Everything else, nice access to the front. One thing I will criticize about this rig, which I noticed when I tried putting it on the other day, this clip you see here, okay, this can be unlooped quite easily, okay? So you'll see, I say quite easily, but it came off for me quite easily, like that, okay? It is just a buckle, okay? Hook buckle, like so. Got to be careful with that, folks. There's nothing worse than having that coming off halfway through a section tack. Okay, now it does have a safety feature over the top, has kind of a sleeve, but please be careful of that. There's nothing worse that you can have happen than this just fly off halfway through your run or your attack, whatever like that. So consider this as a really nice, assaulter vest. You want to put some basic ammunition here for longer range patrols, may want to consider some other stuff. It does fit really nicely to the frag vest, as you can see in terms of my side profile. I'm a chunky boy, but it fits quite nicely. So again, if you want this, go to the comment section description box. It will give you the instructions on how to get this. And thanks again for Red Hawk Tactical. And I'm going to go bomb burst up these hills, so I'll catch you in a bit.